NATO soldiers in Gloucestershire are now officially on 5 days' notice to move anywhere in the world, following a ceremony to make the Allied Rapid Reaction Corps transition to a frontline operational role. Rosie Leyden reports from Imjin Barracks.
Soldiers from 16 NATO nations proudly took their places on the parade ground here at Imjin Barracks, formerly RAF Innsworth, to celebrate taking over responsibility for the NATO Response Force. The NRF is a multinational force of up to 25,000 troops and can be deployed to disaster zones or conflict areas worldwide at just a few days' notice.
It's a capstone for us. It's a moment that we get the flag, the NRF badge on our shoulders. That's really important, but I feel really ready to go already since we did our last exercises in last year.
We're kind of the tip of the spear when it comes to NATO and their ground force, and whether or not NATO chooses to send us anywhere. I think the knowledge that we would be the first ones to go is pretty compelling, kind of neat.
In preparation for this high-profile role, the ARC have been training hard with an extended exercise in Cornwall last year.
We did a long 100-day exercise up in St Morgan, which is in Newquay, basically because we're supporting the HQ ARC here. We basically set up their camp and everything basically for them so they can just come in and start rolling basically. So yeah, it is a hard process for us. But I think we're ready. We can get it up pretty quickly now, so the amount of exercises we've had beforehand, so I think we are ready.
As the ARC prepares for a year as the NRF Land Component HQ, they're ready to counter criticism that in fact the frontline force has only been used once in anger, when it was called on to provide assistance in the wake of the Pakistan earthquake.
The NRF mechanism is a military mechanism. It's delivering a capability for the alliance, and the decision to use it is a political decision. People tend to look at the NRF as a military force and say, well, it's not being used, so therefore it's not appropriate. But if you didn't have it, you probably have to reinvent it.
With 16 air assault brigades slated to provide the muscle this year to back up ARC HQ's command role, insiders are saying 2013 will be the crunch year for NRF to prove it's not a paper tiger and it can make a meaningful contribution on the front line. Well, joining me now is Lieutenant General Sir James Bucknell, Commander of HQ ARC. General, can I start by asking you, how significant is it for HQ ARC to take on the NRF role for 2013?
Well, it's very significant. As you know, we are routinely as a high readiness force at short notice to move, but this tightens that readiness and places us very much in the front row for NATO should a decision be made to deploy a NATO force. So it is very significant indeed.
And how does it change your everyday business?
Well, what it means is that we have to absolutely be clear about our readiness, which means that we must be manned, trained and equipped every day for the next 12 months to deploy at very short notice. It means that we will have a number of deployment rehearsals, calling people back into barracks and so on. So it really sharpens up the whole atmosphere within the headquarters, and of course we will be horizon scanning, looking at the obvious places that we might be deployed and one or two less obvious places as well.
And there has been criticism that since its formation, the NRF hasn't really been called upon to act in an operational role. How would you respond to that?
Well, I think that is right. I mean, it has only been deployed once for an earthquake in Pakistan, but before that, it has really been used as a vehicle for transformation to bring all the NATO nations up to a common standard. But I think those days are now over, and given the uncertainty in the world today, I think that there is not only a willingness to use the force, but also I think that people are much better equipped, much better manned than they have been before.
And for example, we're a long way off any kind of intervention in Mali, but if NATO HQ was called for in that area, is that something that you could do?
Most certainly. We are the land component for the NATO Response Force, but the ARC itself has always sort of pitched its tent, as it were, to be a theatre-level headquarters. As you say, we are nobody's yet mooting any deployments at all for the NATO Response Force, but I think we have got within this headquarters the span and the capability to fulfil those sorts of roles.